Hello and welcome to another episode of Fan-Made Games, and this week we're talking about more Pokemon games. That's right, and you know what that means? Tons of different stuff to talk about today. Like different things, like fighting games and 3D games and gross stuff, so yeah. Let's just kind of hop into the thick of things. Starting off, we have Pokemon Go Drop, which plays a lot like what I would love any actual Pokemon game to be like. And by that, I mean having multiple choices in how you play the game. In the actual Pokemon universe, there are tons of professions like Pokemon Trainer, Nurse, Professor, and more. And this game allows you to be any of those things. And the first few choices you make are actually really important, with the first being choosing between spawning on the east side of the world or the west side of the world, giving you access to different jobs at different times. The east side lets you be a professor or nurse quicker, while the west side lets you be a military general or CEO of a company faster. After that, you get asked which types of Pokemon you like the most, and these choices will give you what starters you can choose from. So I ended up with a Ghost Pokemon. All of these choices add tons of variation and added content onto what I believe to be a stale Pokemon format. And if you don't like these paths, you can still train to defeat the Elite Four and gain badges like any other Pokemon game. So it delivers something for everyone. And what's better than that? Next, we have a fighting Pokemon game, and I'm not talking about Pokken. Pokemon Type Wild is a 2D fighting game designed by a past artist from the Pokemon series, and you can really tell the animations and backgrounds are extremely beautiful and give a perfect Pokemon vibe that'll make you feel like it's a real Game Freak game. It includes many fan-favorite Pokemon to choose from as well, like Blaziken, Gengar, Lucario, Gardevoir, and others like Combusken, Balloon, Swalot, and Snorlax, all with their own combo attacks and special abilities, along with extra Pokemon used as assists. The only issue I have with this game is that I suck at fighting games, and the easy mode was even too hard for me. Plus, Breloom's extendy arms are stupid and cheap, and they piss me off. So I started playing as Breloom. I have to say though, if you want a Pokemon fighting game more like Street Fighter, or if you're just tired of Pokken, I would say give Type Wild a try. Also, I would recommend a controller or fight pad to make pulling off special moves a bit easier than with the keyboard. A few years back, there was a Pokemon game that got huge traction, and till today is still pretty busy on the servers, which is Pokemon MMO, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You play Pokemon, but online with other people, so while you explore and play your game, you can see other players walking around fighting, and you can also battle and trade with anyone online that you would like. Recently though, along with being able to play Fire Red, they also added Silver to the game, allowing you to play even more, and find even more awesome Pokemon to show off to all the noobs around you. I mean it though, it seems like a lot of people with legendaries like to just chill in the starting town like, look how awesome I am! Even worse than Gary Oak. Truthfully though, that's about it. If you've played Pokemon, just imagine that, but online with other people and friends. Next is the one and only 3D Pokemon game on this list, called Pokemon 3D. Who would have guessed? It's a 3D version of Pokemon Silver, and as cool as it looks, I think I may have to stay with the original Pokemon design as a favorite. The controls are a bit weird, having you still turn before being able to move forward. Stopping you from moving on a diagonal and not having a top-down view makes it really hard to tell where you're going, especially with all the grass blocking your sight. The game is also currently in beta, so the fight sequences aren't perfect. They do look cool with a sweeping transition from gameplay to battle, but there's no animations for attacks and the camera work is a little off at times, but I can see where the battle idea is going and I really like it. My biggest issue though is that I couldn't find anywhere in the menu to save, so I thought, hey, it must just auto-save, and I closed the game down. A few minutes later, I come back to continue playing and I start from the beginning again, which really sucked. Next, we have a very cool ROM hack, one of only two in this entire list, which allows you to play through the actual TV show in a Pokemon game. But truthfully, I couldn't get the ROM to work. Whenever I started it, I got to a part where the sparrow chases you down, but there was nowhere for me to go, so I looked up strategy guides and found that my area looked different than everyone else's for some reason. So I downloaded a different ROM and ROM patch and the same issue popped up. No clue why, but it just happened. I don't want to take away from this game though, because it is amazing. After looking at some Let's Play, there is tons to do and lots of stuff from the TV show. From Pikachu disobeying you to the Squirtle Squad and more. It's an awesome game for fans of the show, so hopefully the hack works out better for you than it did for me. The last game on the list has to be the only game I did not like whatsoever. What we have here is known as Pokemon Snakewood, and at this point, truthfully, I was getting tired of Pokemon games, and this game just did not help at all. First off, the story is just weird, having you fight zombies and zombie Pokemon to save the world and find your brother, but the biggest issue is that I picked a Pokemon called Beltoy, and he was not good at all. The first actual enemy I came across instantly mops the floor with my Pokemon, and guess what? There are no trainers to challenge to raise my level, so I was stuck grinding. And on top of that, the Pokemon I could catch in this area are all pretty much garbage, so I really didn't want to bother catching them. I did want to give the game a chance though, so I looked up a couple reviews and found one by this nice channel called Classy Reviews. And well, it looks like I was in for a lot more if I kept playing. Including more insane trainers with stupid hard Pokemon for the start of the game, which means tons of grinding, plus a story that gets even dumber as it progresses. I thought maybe this game would be interesting with the zombie Pokemon and headless stuff, but it turned into a grind fest I just wasn't willing to put my time into. The Pokemon community is one amazing community, making tons of fan stuff like games, pictures, cartoons, stories, and more. And you know what? They all deserve a round of applause, and just to help support them, check out any of the games that I've talked about today or in part 1. And also, if you haven't seen part 1, go check it out, leave a like, a subscribe, all that cool stuff, and check out a video that should be popping up now as a card called Legendary's Undertale Review. He's one of my Patreons, and he's making some really cool content, so I hope you guys check that out as well. Until then, I'll see you all in the next video. I just have to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, I would not be making the content I am right now. So a big thanks to Rob Liberty, Brad Moore, Andre Drulard, Thomas Bethel, Robert Velasco, Dominic Sharma, Martin Scutt, Maxim Lufkin, and the YouTuber Legendary.